Interesting quotes from the German manager Jurgen Klopp this lunchtime. The Liverpool boss says about the pursuit of Jude Bellingham, we cannot have 6 players in the summer, everyone for £100 million. He said, we are not children. When you ask a 5-year-old what they want for Christmas and they say a Ferrari, you wouldn't say, oh, that's a good idea. You would say, no, it's too expensive, and anyway, you cannot drive it. I mean, I get the first bit about being too expensive, but what does he mean by you cannot drive? I mean, is he just saying that it is a ludicrous idea to spend that money on Jude Bellingham? It seems an odd sort of phraseology to me.
I think that's what he's saying, isn't he? It's just out of reach, so it's just it's never going to happen. So it's just a silly suggestion. It's a shame because Jude Bellingham is a wonderful talent. I'm sure they'd really enjoy having him there. And it is an area of the pitch, isn't it, where they really need some help. And Liverpool have fallen really from those high level standards they've been setting over the last 3 seasons, really drifted off. And he needs surgery in that midfield.
I just hope at some point, Sam, we do see Jude Bellingham in the Premier League, because obviously there's been a lot of talk and speculation about Real Madrid, that there is genuine interest there. My gut feeling is still that he signs a new contract at Dortmund and then leaves on some kind of release clause, and maybe that brings teams like Liverpool back into the equation next summer.
We'll see. Let's talk about Burnley and the EFL. Dan Windle, talkSPORT's host of the EFL, is in the studio with us live this lunchtime to preview what is another massive weekend of action. Lots of discussion, Dan, about Vincent Kompany's future. What is the very latest on that?
Afternoon, Sam. Well, Vincent Kompany has shown humility in the last few days, much of which he's shown during day one at Burnley, when confronted around speculation on his future and linked with the Spurs job. He's answered it openly and honestly. He's always happy to be linked with huge jobs like Tottenham, but I see his immediate future remaining at Turf Moor because of the job that he's continued to do there, promotion that they've achieved already, the title that they can wrap up this weekend. Victory at Reading for them will be enough if second place Sheffield United fail to beat Cardiff tomorrow lunchtime on talkSPORT 2. For me, he would be mad leaving Burnley in the near future because of the job he's doing up there and his standing in the game right now, which is only going to improve if he stays there.
Well, you say that. It will only improve if he stays there as long as he's got the ability to strengthen the squad in the summer. What's the latest on the transfer embargo, Crook? Because when he was asked about that yesterday, he said, we couldn't do a transfer now if we wanted to anyway. My understanding was it was an administrative error and that is being rectified. We're on track. We've got everything lined up to do what we want to do and we're not concerned about it for the summer. If he can get transfers in and out and be able to sign players that can stiffen the squad for the rigours of the Premier League, then my advice for them would be to stay there and try and keep them in the division next season. But if he cannot strengthen the squad, that changes the player.
Yeah, it sounds like he's quite positive about that, and obviously he's been in dialogue with the owners. But I don't know, I'm not sure I agree with you and Dan on that. Surely, if you're the Burnley manager, and listen, Burnley fans hate me anyway because you and I both thought they'd struggled this season, saying we've been proved wrong, and hold my hands up to that. But
and I was quite happy to apologise for it. You just wanted to keep being belligerent. I understand.
Well, no, but Tottenham are a bigger club than Burnley. There's no two ways about that. They will be in Europe next season in some form. There will be funds to spend. Daniel Levy did back Antonio Conte in the transfer market. Burnley have been wonderful under Vincent Kompany this season, and I think if he stays, they'll try and keep playing that very attractive brand of football. But surely football is about improving yourself and taking on a fresh challenge.
Why does he need to take that on now, though?
Because it might not be available in a year's time. Tottenham may have another manager by then.
Well, isn't this the becoming now the Vincent Kompany story? This is a part, of course, Sean Dyche was synonymous with that club for so long, but the signature of this football club is changing, isn't it?
Well said.
The way that they're playing football is just quite remarkable. And
do you turn down Spurs, though, if you're at Burnley?
Let's keep it about Burnley. Let's keep it about Burnley and what he's achieved. He's brought 9 players in, I think, from the Belgian league, so he just a good aptitude of knowledge in that division. I think that helped him enormously there. He's still getting a tune out, isn't he? The likes of Ashley Barnes and people playing in slightly different roles. He plays quite withdrawn now, completely different to where he would have played in the past. I'm looking at Roberts running into midfield in much the same way I'm seeing Stones play. So this is really interesting now, this manager, with lesser quality players, and they lost 6-0, didn't they, in the FA Cup, which demonstrates that. This is what he can achieve. But if he's allowed to buy and build, as he did last year, and he'll know the calibre has to improve, the sky is the limit for him.
From day one arriving at Turf Moor, grounded and understanding the challenge he was taking on at championship level, recruiting for the championship level, huge squad overhaul and churn at Burnley the past summer, further changes, tinkering done in January, understanding what it was going to take to get out of the championship. That was led by Vincent Kompany.
But Martin, if you were a player at Burnley and Tottenham come calling, do you turn that down to stay at Burnley?
There's a quiet confidence they can get. They will be able to do business this summer.
There's a slightly different argument though, Crook, isn't it? Because if you're a player at Burnley and you get a 5-year contract at Tottenham Hotspur, you get a 5-year contract at Tottenham Hotspur and you get the opportunity to make your mark. If you're a manager and you go into Tottenham Hotspur, if you have 6 bad games at the beginning of the season or you have a really iffy run over Christmas, you may be out of a job within 6 months, and that promising career that you built in the Championship with Burnley could be over before you've even blinked your eyes, Martin.
Do you know where it's interesting here is if we look at the Guardiola and everyone's saying City.
Have we lost you there, Martin? I think your microphone has died. I think even the technology is trying to get you shut up now. That's embarrassing, isn't it?
It's a shame because I have some good things to say.
Oh, there we go.
You're back again.
If we look at Pep and sort of, is it too soon to go for him? Let's now turn to the Vincent Kompany, the person, the individual, the driven individual. Pep was basically managing the B team at Barcelona and went straight in to that one of the biggest jobs in world football, and was incredibly successful. So these successful type personalities, there's kind of no time to lose. It depends how patient he wants to be, and I'm sure there's going to be great opportunities, but it would be nice to see how he gets on, wouldn't it? With a bit of a shoestring of a budget.
Yeah.
Of course, he's got to have more money than he can't buy anybody at the moment.
No.
But I just wonder if that allure of going to a top club because he's seen this. He may be thinking, look, I'm on that same track. I want to get there quickly.
I think his stock only improves however Burnley get on in the Premier League next season.
Yeah, but it's Tottenham.
I think his stock only improves next season. And I don't know why you need to jump now when the phone will be going next summer with some amazing opportunities. But you don't know that, job though, that he has done.
So if Burnley go up into the Premier League and with the greatest squad in the world, Vincent Kompany can't keep them there and they get relegated, are Tottenham going to be as interested in a year's time? Football is about moments and seizing the moments. I think if they appreciate and understand
the opportunity, the job that Vincent Kompany could do at the helm of Tottenham, yes, I think they would be interested.
Daniel Levy looks at the budget he spent at Burnley and how successful he was. Of course, Daniel Levy wants him there.
And he plays the type of football that Tottenham fans have been crying out for. And I think Vincent Kompany, we know what he was like as a player. He has that aura. I think he'd back himself.
Let's not forget Craig Bellamy as well, doing a lot of work behind the scenes.
It's
interesting. Really good partnership to go in there.
Let's talk about Sheffield United, who also got the opportunity to get themselves into the Premier League in the next couple of weeks. Former Scotland striker Chris Iwelumo and Nigel Adderley will be commentating on this game tonight. What are we expecting?
Their match with Cardiff tomorrow lunchtime. No worries at all. I'm hosting the show over on talkSPORT 2. Looking forward to that. Of course, hugely significant at both ends of the table. Cardiff absolutely fighting for their life. And Sabri Lamouchi coming out after their recent defeat against Sunderland, pointed in his criticism, robust in his criticism of his players' attitude, obviously seeking a major response. They're running difficult. I think 4 of their last 6 games, Cardiff away from home. I think they have Burnley and Sheffield United to play. So they're trying to keep their heads above water, taking on a Sheffield United side who just, I think, Sam, have grabbed back hold of second spot. They've been, over the last few months, through ups and downs, obviously huge uncertainty away from the pitch, behind the scenes, a takeover that's continuing to drag on. But Paul Heckingbottom, pretty kind of straightforward every time he's been asked a question on that. That's nothing to do with me, nothing to do with my squad. We'll crack on, and I think Paul Heckingbottom will take this Sheffield United side up after falling just short in the playoffs last season, underlining the phenomenal job he's done at Bramall Lane over the last couple of years. I think Sheffield United will be joining Burnley in the Premier League next season.
Stuart McCall. It's interesting, we're seeing there in the Championship too, partnerships, aren't we? Successful managers, and I'm not sure we're at the Klopp and Taylor level, but I quite like this sort of shared responsibility where clearly the manager trusts the assistant manager.
Yeah, I think there's a continuity about Sheffield United. It's built on what was so successful under Chris Wilder: energy, dynamism.
Doyle, though, when you talk
3-5-2,
do you think it was a step in a different direction when they brought 2 Man City players in? Obviously, and Doyle, very gifted, aren't they? And it sort of changed the way that they're able to play.
I think he made a decision a few months ago when form was drifting and Borough were coming up fast on their tail, and Luton have been phenomenal, Rob Edwards' side this season, just to freshen things up, to bring McAtee in, to bring Doyle in, to make difficult decisions like dropping Ollie Norwood, who's been an ever-present for that football club over a number of years now, bringing Doyle into the midfield, getting McAtee to play in and around Illiman and Jai, who's been a revelation for them this season. And it's just freshened Sheffield United up in the last,
and their fixture list, of course, has been enormous with the FA Cup.
Yeah. That relegation battle is fascinating as well, Sam, isn't it? When you look at two teams cut adrift, but then Reading, Cardiff, QPR under Gareth Ainsworth, does he regret that move from Wickham? Huddersfield, who've picked up some brilliant results under Neil Warnock. Rotherham still involved as well. That's going to be really interesting.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.